What's up, guys? Mason the Rock Henderson here. So, Bull has returned for season 2, and I'm very happy about it. It's the show that I like the concept of it. I like the characters that are involved. It's just, there are a few hiccups here and there, and that's kind of to be expected of its first season. So, very interested to see where the season's going to go, how they're going to take the show, what are they going to do with it next. Really looking forward to it. So, the first episode of the second season, School for Scandal, involves a lot of scandal. This woman who is married to a rich guy stabs herself and then shoots him, claiming it was self-defense. Pretty interesting concept in theory, but then you look at how they're executing it, and it's all pretty obvious. You see her put on latex gloves, stab herself, missing her vital organs, and then you see her shoot the guy still wearing the latex gloves. You can kind of see what's going to trip her up in the end. Why would you not leave fingerprints on the gun? Why were your hands not covered in gunpowder residue? So, yeah, very early on you can figure out what's going on. So it's a little bit predictable there. And then on top of that, I think they missed a great opportunity to sort of test the morality of Bull and his team, because we find out that the woman that Bull is seeing, can't remember her name right now, but she apparently is going to represent this woman in the murder trial because they want to try her for murder, mainly because they think if they can find her guilty, maybe they won't have to give her as much money as she's asking, which is pretty much, she's asking for the whole company, which is worth, I think they said 6.6 billion. So they're willing to offer her 500 million so they can drop all the charges and she can walk away. And so Bull, thinking, oh, well, I'm seeing the woman that is her representative right now. This should be easy. Goes and talks to her. She says, hey, I'm about to go see her right now. Why don't you come with me and talk to her? He talks to her, and she says, no, take me to court. I want to fight this. I want to fight this murder charge. Even though we know clearly she is guilty of murder, she still says, yeah, I want to go to court. Wouldn't it have been so much more interesting if Bull talks to her about this, she says, yes, I'm going to accept the $500 million, but Bull sees that she's lying, and now he's got a moral dilemma to deal with. Does he just go and say, hey, she's going to accept the settlement and let a murderer get away? Or does he go to them and say, hey, she's clearly guilty of murder, take her to trial anyway. Don't give her the settlement. What would he do? Because he's looking at a ton of money if he can get them, or if he can get her to settle. But does his morality, how does he handle that? How does he deal with that process? It just seems like such an interesting theory to go along with. But they didn't. They just made it easy. They made it to where, oh, she's very greedy, and so her greed trips her up, and she wants to go to trial for murder, and she's very clearly going to be found guilty of murder. So, I don't know, I just think that was a wasted opportunity, a missed opportunity, to really do something interesting with these characters. Aside from that, the trial plays out pretty much how you would expect it, with Bull's lover running the defense. She knows all of Bull's tricks. She's trying to pin down the jury that she wants and she knows Bull doesn't want. But ultimately, there's one juror that's in there. Bull thinks she's a ringer, but then he goes outside and hears her talking on the phone and finds out she's from Callisto, Texas as well. And so now he thinks she's a plant, and he thinks that as long as she's in there, the defense is always going to have one against, which means it's going to be a hung jury, which means they can't convict her. But ultimately, this leads to nothing because they find her unanimously guilty. So I don't know if that was supposed to be something interesting, and then they just sort of forgot to do anything interesting with it. We never find out if this woman was actually a plant from her, or if it was just a random woman that happened to be from Callisto as well. They never explain it, they never really talk about it. It just leads to a fight between Bull and this woman, and ultimately she leaves anyway. So, what did this mean? What did this do? Don't know. It just sort of was in there to make us think, oh no, maybe they won't be able to win this trial. Maybe there's a woman in there who will always vote not guilty because she's working with the defense. I don't know. But anyway, as far as how the trial plays out, like I said, the fact that she's shot with the gloves still on is the thing that trips her up. And on top of that, we find out she was also, she was an anatomy student, which is why she knew how to stab certain places and just miss the vital organs. And so all of this, they put it all together, they spell it out for the jury, and of course the jury sees, oh well, all the evidence points to her being guilty. And so that's ultimately how they figure it out. So, pretty straightforward, pretty obvious, but I did like how they executed it, seeing them start to figure things out. There's a very nice scene between Bull and Danny where he yells at her because, oh, you're supposed to vet this woman, she's from Callisto, and he gets all upset. And then she walks into his office after he blows up on her and, pretty much threatens him a little bit. It was a really good scene, and it's why I think these side characters are interesting, even if they don't get a ton of focus. They are good side characters. They do a very good job at their jobs, and then on top of that, they do a good job of holding down scenes that are their own. And so we see her walk in and pretty much say to him, hey, I found this information that is going to help our case. You're welcome. Don't ever throw anything at me again, or else you're going to regret it. And so Bull, of course, apologizes, and they sit down to try to figure out what this new information means, and that's how they figure out that this woman is guilty. Aside from the whole case, though, the other side story going on is all these people want raises. Chunk wants to go to school for law because he passed this, he did very well in this test that says he probably should be a lawyer or something like that. So he wants to go to law school, but he can't do both, and so he's looking to get a raise out of this. Bull is just like, sure, why not? And Marissa tells him we don't have the money for it. And so, of course, this whole trial, it all sort of rides on the fact that these people are willing to give him a ton of money for this. And so he even uses the fact that he's going to prove her guilty to say, hey, let me also get a full ride to any law school in New York for anybody of my choosing. And so that's how he helps Chunk go to law school. And, it's just kind of a little side thing to sort of up the ante of we have to win this trial or else we don't have the money to pay people what they deserve. But I don't know, it's just a little side story, interesting enough. But the main focus was the trial, and that's where it should have been. It was a pretty good trial to handle. I hope they do some interesting things with trials, though, this season, because this first one felt very similar to the first season, where it's nothing I'm not expecting. It's nothing that I've never seen before in any trial show. I want them to handle some very interesting cases. I want to see what happens whenever they lose a case. What happens whenever they find out halfway through a trial that their client is actually guilty, or the people they're trying to, prosecute are not guilty. What do you do then? Do you just stop working for them, or do you, maybe try to prove them guilty without really telling them you're doing that? I don't know. I want to see them handle some different situations like that, because some of the situations they handled in the first season were a bit different, but nothing really, I guess, I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for. Not difficult, but something that really gets them to have to stress out and try to figure things out a different way, different than what they're used to doing. So I don't know. It's what I want to see. It's what I want to see out of the show. I want to see the show grow because they had a pretty good first season, and I think they're starting off the second season pretty well as well. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on this first episode? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Bull reviews. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.